What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be testing out viral makeup that you all have been tagging me in over on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts. These are products that have just blown up lately, and not all of them are new products either. So there's some kind of older products that have seen a resurgence over on TikTok, and you just wanted to know, are these actually worth buying? So I purchased everything. I watched the videos that you sent me, and I have to say some of them really did suck me in. But I also try to keep in the back of my mind that TikTok is a selling machine. These days, it is all about driving sales over there. So today we're gonna cut through the hype. As you guys know, I am not here to just sell you things blindly. I really want you to have the best experience and spend your money wisely. So are these products unique and actually worth purchasing, or should you skip them? Let's go ahead and jump right in and find out. Okay, let's start with brows. And I had gotten tagged in a video about the Eye Method eyebrow pens. So the person who tagged me said they know how much I love the NYX Lift and Snatch brow pen, which I've been using for a really long time, a couple of years now. And I've mentioned before that the ash brown shade in the NYX is my perfect match. But the person who tagged me in the video wanted to know if the gray shade that's in the Eye Method pen is worth buying. So let's quickly watch that video.
My hair is silver. I never know what color I should do my eyebrows, so I just don't, and I look washed out. Any advice? I got you. So one of the new shades that Eye Method released is the gray, and I feel like with really silvery hair, the gray would look fantastic if you don't overdo it. And I'm gonna show you what this gray looks like on me. Look at that. Now the key is to just go in light and fill it in just enough, not too much, and look at that. Like, this gray shade would look amazing with silver hair. If it's the silver that I have pictured in my head, this gray pen would look amazing. But that is what the gray shade looks like, and they are linked below. What do you think? Will this work out for you?
I did make a mistake and I bought the wrong one. I have the right one on its way to me, but it's not going to be here for another day. The one that I got actually has 3 prongs on the pen, and the one that she used in the video has the 2 prongs, and it's kind of curved. I really wanted to try that one, so like I said, that one's coming, and I'll definitely show it in a video like later on, but I'm still going to try this one that has the 3 prongs. So it has that on one side, and then on the other side it just has one like single brush, so it's really similar to the NYX on the other side. These are double-ended pens. And I'll just quickly show you some swatches because I did get 2 colors. I wasn't sure, so I got the gray one, and just in case that totally didn't work out for me, I ended up getting the brown shade in shade number 4 as well. So I'll just show you what these 2 look like. Personally, I do think the gray one is going to work out really well for me because the brown one is a little bit more warm toned, and the gray is just that perfect ashy tone. Now I just want to quickly show you what the NYX pen looks like next to these. So ash brown in NYX is a little bit warmer than the gray shade, but it's cooler than the brown shade. So it's somewhere right in the middle. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. I'm just going to quickly zoom you guys in. So what she normally does in her video is start with the 2-pronged side. So I'm going to use the 3-prong, and then I'll just use the other tip to fill in where I need it. So she said to just go in lightly. She usually comes in from above up here. So I'm just going to kind of start brushing this up. Oh my gosh, this is so smooth. It's really pigmented, and it feels kind of almost like velvety going on. It's drawing on so smoothly. That is really nice, and that took me like 2 seconds. I also do think it makes really hair-like strokes. I'm just gonna go ahead now and take the single side and just kind of fill in hairs where I feel like it's needed. And I think this one does have that perfect cool undertone, but it is a little bit on the darker side too. So if you have really light brows, I might suggest using a blonde color. I'm not really sure. I feel like this is maybe a little bit darker than I normally go with my brows. To be honest, I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. Overall, I do think it makes your brows look really natural. I'm just not sure about this color yet. So I have to kind of sit with it a little bit. It looks different than what I'm normally used to. So tell me what you think for sure, because sometimes the outside perspective helps a little bit. Next up, let's move on to foundation. And this is not a new product at all. I was actually surprised to see myself being tagged in this video because I used to use this product years and years ago. And to be honest, I forgot that it even existed. So let's go ahead and watch this.
This is my skin with nothing on it. Now watch me put a real life filter on it. This is the Tarte BB Blur Tinted Moisturizer. Everybody is going crazy on TikTok over this because it gives an instant filter to your face, especially if you're over 30 and you have fine lines and wrinkles. Watch this. It's literally like I just put an instant filter right on my face. It blurs everything out. It still allows my natural skin to peek through, and it doesn't settle into my fine lines and wrinkles. It literally feels like I have nothing on my skin. It is not heavy. Now, when you buy this on the TikTok shop, not only do you get the skin tint, but you also get this brush, which is a $36 value for free. You can only get this on the TikTok shop.
All right, so when she was applying this, I definitely saw the kind of smoothing effect that it gave, and she definitely wasn't using a filter. You could see her skin's texture and everything. It did actually look really good on her. This also has SPF 30 protection, so it's kind of like a sunscreen slash skin tint in one. It has a mineral sunscreen blend with titanium dioxide and zinc oxide, and I got this one in the shade Fair Light. This is the second to lightest shade, and I was a little bit confused because on the Sephora website, when you look at this, all of the shades say that they have both warm and cool undertones. So like the fair shade says, for fair skin with a balance of warm and cool undertones. This one says fair to light skin with a balance of warm and cool undertones. So I don't know, maybe they're just trying to say it's neutral. I don't know, but this shade looks like it's gonna match me okay. It does look a little bit warm, but from what I remember about this product, it's more of a sheer coverage. Again, this is a tinted moisturizer. So I'm just gonna apply it with a brush like she did. And this is my brush from Doll 10, my foundation brush. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start applying this. Actually, yeah, this color is a pretty good match, I would say. It doesn't look overly warm and it's not too dark for me either. So I'm just gonna start working this in. It's super smooth. It just glides right on like silk. It is so soft and it's just kind of almost like going on top of my skin. And I do remember that about this formula, even though it's a tinted moisturizer and people usually think of those as something dewy and really hydrating. I do remember this having more of a matte moussey finish, and I was surprised by that the first time I tried it. It feels almost like a primer. It feels very silicone heavy, and it has a powdery feel, and it does just mattify your skin. So I think if you're super dry, you may not love it, but if you're oily, this also kind of has like that really slick, almost oily feel. So it's a weird texture. And as far as the coverage goes, I would say it's like a light to medium. It's not super sheer, but it's not full medium coverage either. So you can see like it did take down some of my redness. It covers a little bit of discoloration, but it's not going to be like a full coverage option. And I also, one thing I do remember about this, like it's all kind of coming back to me now, is this doesn't really build upon itself very well because it has that slick feeling and it just sort of like sits on top of your skin. It doesn't really go into your skin. And that could also potentially cause transfer as well. If it's just sitting there, it might rub off. So we'll have to do a wear test and see how this holds up throughout the day. But as far as her claims of making this make your skin look really smooth and airbrushed, let me zoom you in just so we can see. All right, so yes, I definitely think this gives that blurring effect to your skin just because it is more mattifying. It has that powdery finish. It's a little bit more moussey. And to me, it feels like a silicone primer with some pigment mixed into it. So it looks really nice on my skin for the most part, but I notice it clinging to like the rough areas of my chin just a little bit. It's almost like breaking up and not sitting perfectly smooth in this area because I do have kind of a rough bumpy texture on my chin. So just my initial thoughts on this, I think people are going to be very conflicted. Some may love it and the fact that it has this really nice blurring finish. Other people might feel like it feels greasy. Some people might feel like it feels too dry. I don't know. I feel like it looks good right now, but we're going to have to check in on it a little bit later today. day. Next, let's move on to eyes, and I have never been tagged in something so much as I was with this. This is the new Viseart palette, and it's called Sirenuse. I think that's how you say it. It's Italian. I looked it up before I came on camera just to make sure. And this is so pretty. I mean, some of you may look at this and say, this is just like, it's boring. It's a neutral palette, but it does have a couple of duochrome shades in here. You have this one down at the bottom, and then this one over here. And the video that I got tagged in was on Viseart's page, and they were just showing the palette and showing some swatches and all of that. And it truly looks so beautiful. I knew I had to buy it right away because Viseart is one of my favorite eyeshadow formulas. I just find the color stories to be just so everyday wearable, and when they do use color, it's typically more in a subtle way. And that's right up my alley. So let me just quickly show you a close-up of the palette and some swatches. In here, you do have a mix of both warm shades and cool shades. So I love that. It's mainly neutral for the most part. You do have those couple of duochrome shades, but overall it's just very soft. You do have a couple of shades in there that you could use to create more depth and a smoky look if you wanted to. But I love that the shimmer shades are just perfect, like everyday wearable shades. You can use them as one and dones. I think they would be beautiful for that. So I can already see this one becoming a huge favorite. This is a great neutral option for fall. So just quickly, I did get some comments also asking me to show this next to the Natasha Denona gold palette because this is a more neutral palette and has the pops of teal. So let me just show you those side by side really quick. To be honest with you, I don't see too much similarity. I think the Natasha Denona is a little bit brighter, bolder. I think the Viseart palette is just cooler overall, even though it does have a couple warm shades, and it's just more toned down. And not only that, but when you swatch the teal shades in the Viseart palette, they don't come off really that way. You have that dark teal color that when swatched almost looks grayish, and the other one that looks teal in the pan actually shows up more of a purple that shifts to teal. So this is one of those cases where something might look similar in the pan, but when you swatch it out, it doesn't look similar at all. So anyway, I definitely want to use one of those duochromes for my look today. So I'm going to start with this one right here, which is kind of like a warm matte mid-tone brown. And I'm just going to start working that back and forth in my crease with the BK Beauty 201. Viseart's formula is so blendable, like these almost blend themselves. So easy to work with. If you're more of a beginner when it comes to eyeshadows, I think these are perfect to start out with. I just like them because, you know, I'm not a makeup artist, and sometimes brands like Natasha Denona, you know, they're beautiful. She's got a gorgeous formula, but it can sometimes be a little overwhelming because it's intense. Everything that she comes out with is really like very saturated. The shades are pigment heavy, and you have to sometimes spend a lot of time blending. At least I do. But when it comes to Viseart, it's just so quick and easy. All right, then I'm just going to soften the edges with this tan color right here next to that one. And I'm just going to use that right under my brow bone and just blend that transition color in a little bit more. All right, next I'm going to jump into this deep, warm chocolatey brown down here on the bottom. And I'm just going to pack that into the outer corner with a flat brush. This is the Rephr #1 Mini. And then I'm just going to blend that with the A502 brush from BK Beauty, which is a tiny little crease brush. Even when it comes to their deep shades, like they don't get patchy, and they're so easy to blend and sheer out if you want to. Okay, next I want to pick up this duochrome shade that's right here in the top corner. I'm just going to pick it right up on my finger and just start applying that to my lid, starting in the inner corner and working that back toward the middle. And for the most part, Viseart's shimmer shades are metallic or satin. They don't really do glitter very often. That is so beautiful. It's subtle. It has that really pretty kind of brown to green shift, but it's not over the top. So if you like more subtle eyeshadows, these are definitely the way to go. One thing I noticed when I was swatching the shimmer shades in this palette is that the duochromes are probably less metallic than some of the other colors. These come off almost a little bit more satin, but if you pick up like this shade right here in the other corner, for example, it's just a little bit more impactful than the shade that I'm using on my eyes today. All right, so I am really loving the combo of the warm crease color mixed with the teal duochrome shade. I think it just kind of sets it off so beautifully. It's a gorgeous contrast. So let's go ahead and put on some mascara next. And I got tagged in a video for, again, a product that is not new, but it seems to be going viral and is all over TikTok. So let's take a look.
Guys, take it from me, the mascara you use does make a difference. I'm using the Lancôme Lash Idol mascara, and this is one of my absolute favorites. The first reason being is the perfectly curved brush. That's something I always look for in a mascara, but this one is so good because it targets every single lash and lifts and volumizes. Like, look how perfectly fanned out and long my lashes look. And trust me, this doesn't happen with just any mascara.
All right, so I have to be honest, I've never tried this before. I know that this has been out for quite a while now. I've been using pretty much exclusively tubing mascaras over the past couple years, so I haven't given this one a shot, but I know people in my everyday life that swear by Lancôme mascaras. So I wanted to test this out, but at the same time, you know, I looked at the bottom of this video. It said that she's a Lancôme partner. In fact, a lot of the videos that I started looking at on TikTok when it came to this mascara were all either sponsored videos or it seemed like they already had amazing lashes to begin with. So I figured I'd test this out for myself. I feel like I have pretty average lashes. They're not super long. I don't have extensions or anything, and I don't use lash growth serums. I know a lot of people do, and then sometimes the results can be misleading when they use a mascara because they get these crazy lashes that like touch their eyelid. And I thought it might be helpful to see what this looks like on just completely natural average lashes. So I got the shade Glossy Black, and I do like the brush. I'll show you a close-up quickly of what that looks like. It's curved, but it's almost like angled. It's not really one of those round curvy brushes. It has little short spikes on it, and this is supposed to make your lashes look totally clump-free. Okay, so usually with a curved brush, I like to just flip it upside down and start wiggling the brush at the base of my lashes, and then comb it up through. And I also like to try to focus as much product as I can on the outer lashes because I feel like it makes that nice flared effect. So far, this feels like a somewhat wet formula. It's not dry, but I also don't feel like this is so wet that it's making my lashes clump up or making them feel heavy or anything like that. What do you guys think? It actually did make my lashes pretty big. It gave a lot of length, volume. It's not super clumpy. It gives that more like fanned out effect as well. It actually looks pretty good. I don't think my lashes are as long as I saw some of the other videos, but again, they could be using a lash serum or they could have lash extensions. But I think just on normal lashes, this was able to make it look like I have way more than I normally do naturally. So I'm just gonna do the other eye and then I will show you what that looks like. So yeah, I actually am really pleased with the way that this mascara made my lashes look. They look great. And if this doesn't smudge or flake by the end of the day, which we will be testing, then I would definitely give this my stamp of approval. And this is the first time I'm using this. This is a brand new tube. So I have to believe that this is just gonna continue to get better. I usually like mascaras even more like a week or two out from when I buy them. So overall, this actually might be worth the hype. All right, let's move on to blush. This is another product that isn't new, but there's a video that kind of went viral and it was of someone using a blush in a certain way. And the person who sent me the video asked me two questions. One, what did I think of the method that she was using? And two, if I could find any dupes for the specific blush color. So let's take a look at the video.
Apply the blush starting close to the eyeshadow, glide it over the highest part of the cheekbone and stop at the middle of your cheek, right in line with your pupils. You can see that this way of applying blush makes my cheeks look plump and lifted, and it looks so natural, like my cheeks were kissed by the sun. Plus, I love how you don't see any lines or patches where it begins or ends. Honestly, this is probably the best blush technique I've ever tried.
All right, so as far as the technique goes, I don't really know how I feel about that. But aside from that, aside from the technique, I needed to know what color she was using because that blush is so beautiful. It's like the perfect peachy bronze. And I found out that it's the Anastasia Beverly Hills blush stick in the shade Peach Caramel. So I actually have one of these already and it's in the shade Latte, and it's one of my favorite cream blushes, not only because it has such a beautiful, really blendable formula that's not greasy, but this shade Latte is one of the more unique colors in my collection. It's a pink shade, but it has almost like a grayish undertone to it. It's very interesting, and I haven't really been able to dupe this color with anything else in my collection. So when I saw her using the peach caramel shade, I was like, I don't think I have anything like that either. It's just so unique and different. I'll show it to you guys close up. It has that peach tone to it, but it's also bronzy at the same time. And I feel like all of the peach blush sticks that I have are very peach. They're very bright. They're almost kind of bordering on a peachy coral shade, whereas this one is just so much more like muted and deep. It's like a moody peach, and that's sort of how I feel about Latte, being more of that like moody, dusty kind of pink. I searched my collection high and low, and I have a ton of cream blushes, but I really couldn't find anything that exactly matched this. The closest thing that I could find was from ColourPop, and this is their cream blush in the shade Larchmont Village. So this one, it's not an exact match. I feel like it comes kind of close, and I want to put both of these on my cheeks today, and we'll see if once they're blended out, they actually look a little more similar, but this was the closest I could get. So I guess I'll just put Bronze Peach over here. This is my first time using this color, but I love the Anastasia blush sticks. I think they're one of those products that is so underrated, and I feel like they should be talked about more. So I'm just gonna blend this in my usual way. I like to put blush right across my cheeks this way. That is so pretty. And don't be afraid of this looking like it's kind of a deep color, because I have a pretty fair skin tone, and I think that sheared out so nicely. You really don't have to worry about it being too much for you. I can even build this up and it still looks so pretty. And this formula is really soft. It dries down to a powder finish. It's beautiful. So anyway, that's Bronze Peach. And then over here, let's put a little bit of the ColourPop Larchmont Village. I hope this is going to be similar. It kind of looks like it will be. I feel like maybe this has slightly more pink to it. It's not quite as peachy. It's almost like a pinky bronze. Yeah, when I blend it out, I can see a little bit of difference. I feel like this side just looks a little more pink than this side. But similar concept in that it has that little bit of like a bronzy tone behind it. So anyway, overall, I do think it's pretty close, but if it's in your budget, I highly recommend these Anastasia blush sticks. I know Black Friday is coming up. If ABH has a good sale on these, I wouldn't hesitate. They're fantastic, but the ColourPop blushes are really nice too. Their new cream formula is beautiful. So next, when it comes to lips, you guys sent me a couple of different things that you wanted me to try. So let's take a look at the first one. This is actually a Korean brand and it looks really cool. So let's take a look.
I'm not even exaggerating. This is my new favorite lip product of all time. It's a lip oil and a stain all in one. I got the shade Apple Peony because it's this perfect pink color. Let me just show you. I only just have some plain nude lip liner on my lips right now, but otherwise they're so pale. Like, do you see this? It feels so hydrating. It's not sticky at all because I hate sticky glosses. And then it stains your lips underneath and it comes in like a zillion colors. I'm super picky and I would genuinely only share products I actually love. I'm literally buying these in like every color.
All right, so I have to admit I was really intrigued when I saw that because having dry lips, it's hard for me to find stains that don't feel super like dry and uncomfortable. And a staining oil sounded so cool and different and unique. So I ended up getting this in the same color that she tried in the video, Apple Peony. And when I first saw this, I realized it's probably one of those pH adjusting things because there's really no color to the actual product. Like it's very pale. And sure enough, when I looked it up, that's exactly what these are. So unfortunately, you never really know what color it's going to turn on you. But the other day I was in the car waiting to pick up my son from school and I thought I would try it. So I'll just show you that clip really quick. My lips are naturally kind of more of a pale color too. I don't have a lot of pigment to them. And when I went to put this on, I was pleasantly surprised by the feel of it. It's a really thin lip oil. So it's not a thick gloss. It's not sticky in the slightest bit. It just feels like you're putting on a true lip oil. So I loved the feel of it and the color pretty much started developing right away. I noticed a little bit of a difference immediately, but then I waited like 5 minutes or so and the color had developed even more. And in this video that you're seeing, I feel like it actually looks really nice. It looks like a pretty color, but for some reason my camera is not picking this up. What I saw like with my own eyes in the rearview mirror in my car was like a hot pink. So I wasn't super happy with the color that it ended up being, but as far as the formula goes, I think this is really cool. It's very innovative. It kept my lips feeling hydrated like the whole day. I didn't have to worry about them feeling dry in the slightest bit. So again, I don't even know if I mentioned the name of this product. It's the Noonie Apple Peony Lip Oil. And it does come in other colors. So maybe there's another color that I might find that suits me better. And I definitely want to check out more because I just think this is such an innovative product. There was at no point during the day that my lips felt dry at all. The stain lasted the entire day. Like I put that on, it was like around 2 o'clock when I was picking up my son. By bedtime, the stain was still fully on my lips through eating, drinking, everything for the rest of the day. And there was no dryness whatsoever. And I honestly don't even think there's anything else like this on the market. Maybe with K-beauty brands, but as far as like American brands, I'm trying to think of something that's similar and I really can't. I know Youthforia has a blush, like a pH changing blush oil. But as far as I know, I don't think you can use that one on your lips. It doesn't say that you can. Not to mention that one is so much more expensive and I don't really love them as a company anyway. So I do think this is a super unique product. I think it's something really interesting and cool and different. So I'm definitely going to try more shades. This one might just be a little bit too bright for me. I want to see if there's something a little more subtle. Okay, so the next one is another K-beauty lip product that you tagged me in. So let's take a look at that one really quick.
In my entire lifetime of buying makeup, I have never seen this before. These two glosses are actually the exact same color. They're made by the same brand. They're the same formula, but they're different levels of opacity. So this is the sheer one, which actually comes in a sheer bottle. And then this is the opaque one, which comes in an opaque bottle. And you can see the different saturation. I think this shade Scotch is the perfect fall shade. And using the more sheer one means it's really flattering on me because I have paler skin and I just like a little bit of color. Super pretty, right? But if I want more color, I can use the more opaque version, which almost goes on like a high shine lipstick. And this is gonna have more color payoff. This is gonna be great for deeper skin tones who usually feel like glosses might be a little too sheer. And it's equally as gorgeous, but it gives you options. By the way, this is by the brand Fui, who also makes my little blurry pudding pots that I love. This is so smart. I am definitely going to be using these a lot.
Yeah, so I think the reason I got tagged in that is because I also use those blurry pudding pots from Fui. I've talked about them a few times on my channel and I really, really love them. So I ended up trying these out. I think this is such a cool concept. Like she was saying, each shade comes in 2 different strengths. So this is the shade Current, and you can either get it in 30%, which is the more sheer version, or 70%, which is just more saturated and more pigmented. So here's what the bottles look like. Again, we have the sheer one that's in more of the clear bottle, and then this one is more of an opaque bottle for the 70%. So I got the Current shade and I also got the shade Candy, and I figured we'd just do some quick lip try-ons and we'll see what these look like. So I'm going to start with the sheer version of Current first. I also just want to get a feel for this formula too. So this has like a fruity scent. Oh my gosh, it smells like Big League Chew. Do you guys remember that bubblegum? It smells like, I don't know if it was the strawberry or grape one. It smells so good. That is so nostalgic. Okay, so here's the 30% in the Current shade. And then if you feel like you want more color saturation in the same exact shade, here's the 70%. Okay, yeah, I definitely see the difference here. So this one is the 70%. I'll just put up a quick side-by-side so that you can see the 2 shades. It really is, it's the same color, but just a little bit less intense in the 30%. And as far as the formula goes, this is definitely a thicker gloss formula. It has a little bit of stickiness, like when you press your lips together. I find that the stickier glosses tend to last longer on your lips, so I take that as a positive. I don't really mind a little bit of a sticky gloss. I don't think they're like overly sticky, but there's just that little tacky feeling. They also are, like I said, thicker. They have that cushiony feel, super hydrating, and there's no tingle at all. So they're not like a plumping formula. Okay, so next let's try Candy. I'm gonna do the sheer one first, and this seems also like a cool tone pink. This is so pretty. I'm sure these cool shades aren't really matching my like warm cheeks and eye look, but all right, this is the 30% in the shade Candy. And here it is in 70%. And again, I'll just show you guys a side-by-side really quick. I just think this is such a cool concept. And again, leave it to K-Beauty to come up with the really like innovative, new, different ideas. This is what I was talking about in a recent video. Other brands are out there just copying each other, jumping on trends. And then over here we have K-Beauty just coming up with concepts that bring the fun back to makeup a little bit. So I think these are really cool. They come in a ton of different colors. I actually got mine over on Amazon, so I'll link everything down in the description box. A lot of you had also tagged me in a lot of different videos on the Maybelline Teddy tints, which are new, and I did already review those in a recent video, so if you want to go check that one out, definitely do that. I think these are amazing. Such a great formula. They have a really soft, moussey texture that's not drying, and they leave a nice stain behind. They're transfer proof. They're really, really great. But in that video, I had only gotten to test 6 shades, and there are more out there. A lot of you said you really wanted to see Current Mood on me, so I ended up buying that one. This is actually the lightest shade, and it's more of like a nude. It has a little bit of a peachy undertone, but I have seen people wearing this and it looks beautiful, so I thought I would just try this out. A lot of you said it looked like it could be a really good Your Lips But Better color. And it definitely is. I mean, it's a little bit peachier than my normal lip color, but I have to say, like, it's not as light or pale as I thought it was going to be. It doesn't completely wash me out, which I'm usually afraid of if I get the lightest color in a lip range, which is why I didn't get this initially. But this color is actually beautiful, and I think it complements the peach caramel blush so well. So I'm really happy that so many of you suggested that I try this color. I think it is gorgeous. So anyway, guys, I know I promised you a wear test, so I'm going to go about the rest of my day, and I'll come back in about 8 or 9 hours and let you know how everything is holding up. So I will see you guys then. Hey guys, it's about 9 p.m. I just wanted to do a quick check-in and let you know how things held up throughout the day. So let's start with, I guess, eyeshadow. This still looks really good. It doesn't really look much different from when I first applied it. I never have any issues with Viseart shadows fading on me, so I think this is going to be an amazing palette, and I can't wait to keep using it. Also, I think the blush on both sides, I think they faded kind of evenly. It's a little bit, you know, more faded than it was when I first applied it, but I don't feel like there's a big difference between the Anastasia side and the ColourPop side. I think they both faded kind of the same. The Eye Method brow product is still holding up perfectly. I think the Maybelline Teddy tint, there's like a very slight bit of color left over from before, but it has been like 9 hours. So I have eaten a couple of times. I've had drinks like pretty much the whole day. And I find that I can get around like 6 to maybe 8 hours at the most out of those. And the color that I used today, Current Mood, is a lighter color that's already kind of close to my natural lip shade. So I find that when I wear some of the darker colors of these, I can see them a little bit more after several hours. They leave a little bit more of a tint behind. So I still really like these. I think they're an amazing formula. And then as far as the Tarte BB Blur Cream, I'm pretty surprised by how this is looking. I didn't expect it to still be going strong, but really I can see the foundation everywhere I put it. I don't feel like it came off on my nose, and I was fully expecting this to just slide right off my face because it has that slippery feel to it. But if I'm looking closely, my pores don't look quite as airbrushed as they did before, so I think the foundation is actually settling into my skin. And if I go to take like a tissue or something and blot, like if I put this on the side of my face, there is zero foundation transfer coming off. Now, granted, I have dry skin. I don't know how this is going to work for someone who's oily, but typically when I put on foundation, my skin just kind of grabs it and like sucks it in, which is why I generally don't set my face with powder or setting spray for the most part. So I feel like this looks pretty good on me. I'm gonna keep on testing it, obviously, and see if it makes it into my regular rotation. And, you know, I do those videos every once in a while of things that are my favorites, things that I reach for a lot. So who knows, this could end up in there at some point. I also like that it has the SPF in it too. It's kind of like a tinted sunscreen. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to do a quick wear test, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of these products down below. If you are curious about a product, please go ahead and tag me in it if you see it on social media and let me know, and I can always do another video like this. And I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you have extra time and you'd like to watch some more videos, I'll put some right over here on the screen so that you can check those out next. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all in my next video. Take care, guys. Bye.